This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
Ladies and gentlemen. God damn it!
Let this shit knock. I done turned Havana to Atlanta.
Right.
Wyatt Vera shirts and bandanas. Every tiny thing that got me, I switched the planner. Bulletproof this radio scanners.
We got scanners.
Ballin' to they banners. You getting too much bread, they try to jam you. Boy from the hood, but got White House clamors. Sorry, y'all, I don't agree with y'all parents. Politicians never did shit for me, except lie to me, distort history. Wanna give me jail time and a fine? Fine, let me commit a real crime. I might buy a kilo for cheap beef. Out of spite, I just might flood these streets. Hear the freedom in my speech, got an onion from Universal, read it and weep. Would've bought the next to Brooklyn for free, except I made millions off of you fucking dweeb. I still own the building, I'm still keeping my seats. Y'all buy that bullshit, y'all better keep your receipts. Obama said chill, you gon' get me impeached. You don't need this shit anyway, chill with me on the beach.
Y'all gonna learn today. Y'all gonna learn today. Y'all gonna learn today. Y'all gonna learn today. Y'all gonna learn today.
We almost want to start a revolution. You know whenever I'm threatened, I start shooting. Catch a body, head to Houston. I'm in Cuba, I love Cubans. This communist talk is so confusing. When it's from China, the very mic that I'm using. Idiot win, the Bob Dylan, the rap music. You're an idiot, baby, you should become a student. Oh, you gon' learn today.
Y'all gonna learn today.
Where the fuck have you been? The world's under new management. The new role model, fuck this Zoolander shit,
Y'all gonna learn today. 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 Fucking myself.
What's good? Can everybody hear me? Hit the like sign if you can hear me. Hit the like sign if you can hear me. Hit the love heart if you love yourself. Can everybody hear me okay? Let me check the messages. Let me make sure we good. Are we good? Are we good? Y'all gonna learn today. Hit the like sign. Hit the thumbs up if you like yourself. Hit the heart if you love yourself. That's the only way I can con you to hit the like and the love. I tell you what. If you love your children, hit the share. How about that one? If you love your children, share it. Send it to them. Stop being so damn selfish. We some selfish people. Y'all know we selfish. I tell you what. Send me to somebody that you know will clown me. Yeah, I'm a big enough man for this type shit. I'm built for this. You can't be from 1335, climb yourself out and get in front of your people and talk shit and tell them what's wrong, what's right. I'm built for this. I just learned that. Fuck it, I'm going all night tonight. I didn't have no energy until I hit the power. Till I hit the power button. When I hit the power button, I was like, you know what? I hear the music. I'm like, okay. Jay put me on. He put me on power. He put me on power. Let's go. I'm lasting longer than everybody. I'm lasting longer than everybody tonight. Those that leave, I will see you. I'll still be here when you wake up in the morning, and I'm still going to be talking, damn it. I ain't going nowhere. I'm the bravest one. I'm the bravest one. I'm the one that tell it. I tell it the way it need to be said. I might not say it the way you want to hear it, but I tell them what they need to hear, regardless if you want to hear it or not. And it's my opinion on whatever fact I'm spitting. Now, y'all might not like it. That's cool. Everybody didn't like Jesus. A to the man to the church. Everybody didn't like Malcolm. And y'all know the slaves didn't like the one slave that was running all the damn time. They thought he was crazy too. They called him crazy because he didn't believe what everybody believed. Fuck this bondage shit. I'm out. Now I tell you what I heard today was crazy as hell. I ain't even gonna go in on the cast. I'm just gonna talk about, I'm just gonna say there's one lady on that show called The View who said some shit about that black dude. Y'all don't care. People don't care about racism. You only care about racism if it affects you. You don't care if racism is affecting somebody else. As long as it don't affect you, you don't even care if people go into the store and steal. Now, LaDonna, I ain't going there. Now, it was the one lady who got a pass. The black community then gave her a pass too. See, they all love, look, Whoopi is the, y'all know that. She the boss. Like, they know that she the strength of that. I'll give her that. But that one lady, not the real, like, not the one that I was talking about the other day. It's the older lady, the white lady. I don't even know her name. I don't even know what she do. She said some shit about that black guy, Tim Scott, who's running for president. And I tell you, man, y'all just, bro, we do the worst, man. We let people get away with some bullshit, man, and I just don't understand it. I get it. I understand it. You've been tricked. We got the white boy Roy attitude going on. Y'all know what the white boy Roy is? White boy Roy was a dope boy out of Detroit. He sold drugs in Detroit with all the brothers. They gave him a pass to use the N-word. White boy Roy turned snitch, and all of a sudden he's a white boy all over again. Y'all know white boy Roy. But as long as he was self-serving, as long as he was serving the community and putting brothers on, it was okay for him to do and say whatever. He can be as disrespectful, but he wasn't really a disrespectful dude, but it was disrespectful for him to be able to say and do the things he was doing in our community. We changed it up. His real name is Rick. He was so damn disrespectful. I mean, in the movie, they had him being real cool, right? He was real cool. He was down with the brothers. He was a little laid back. He wouldn't say nothing. But I know dudes that know him. He was just like everybody in the hood. He said the same shit. He called the women the same thing, the B word, the trick, all that. He did all that shit. He got away with it. And the only reason why they let him do it, it wasn't because he was cool. It wasn't because he was better than the other white people and all that old shit y'all like to give excuses for. The reason why they let him get away with it because he was putting motherfuckers on. That's the only reason why. And that's the truth. So y'all don't care. Y'all motherfuckers, you don't care about racism. If you seen a white person being discriminated against, what you gonna say? Nothing. You ain't gonna say nothing. Because you don't say nothing when people say racist stuff to black people that think different than you. If that black person have a different perspective than you will let his ass get in the skillet and get fried. Just like fish. You will let him get fried like fish on both sides. They talking about Tim Scott. Y'all did that shit to Herschel Walker. Look what you put in office, Georgia. Look what you put in. I'm sure y'all proud. And guess what? The people back here in Cincinnati and in Ohio and over in Kentucky and Indiana and in Michigan and all the people who had a whole lot of shit to say about Herschel Walker, calling him radio and disrespecting that man. He was a brother. He's a black man too now. Don't forget. But all that disrespectful shit y'all said and let the radio say and the podcast say and the TV say, y'all let that man get disrespected. Y'all called him goofy, dumb, and all that old shit. And if white people would have did the same thing to one of your candidates, this would be the racist America in the world. The hypocrisy is real. Hypocrisy is real. I'm just bringing the attention to it. That's all. I'm not saying that, we don't have reasons to be upset. But have you once thought about or seen how we take action in some of that shit? Have you seen where we are today from that? Tim Scott is a black man from where all of us is from. The majority of us. Some of y'all from the suburbs. Some of y'all grew up in the suburbs and been in the suburbs your whole life. You've been blessed. But now let me just be honest with you and tell you. You got a brother running, and I probably won't vote for him. I don't know. It's day 2 of him announcing. I don't know. But you know what? The media already going in on him. You got white people on the media. No offense to my white listeners. This has nothing to do with you right now. You got white people in the media on The View standing right in your face saying some shit like he's an Uncle Tom. What the fuck does a white person know about an Uncle Tom? How can a white person classify Uncle Tom for you? She's getting paid. She got a check today for telling you that a black man who says that he has some systems that he want to put in place specifically for black people, now he's an Uncle Tom. So you know what? Half the world don't like him. Us, black folks, don't like Tim Scott. You don't even know his policies. All you got to know is that R on his name mean That's all you got to do. Because now the radio, podcast, everybody's going to be talking bad about him because he's a Republican. He didn't have his mama on the stage, his family on the stage, his mama. Nobody seen that, did they? Who's seen it? Who's seen his mama? Who's seen his brothers? Anybody see that? Anybody know what he stand for? Anybody know the bills that he signed that help black folks specifically? Anybody know? I do. Do you? So before I dislike an individual, I get to know what they do. I'm not about to try to be like, oh yeah, lunchroom, 6th grade lunchroom table. They already talking about he another Clarence Thomas. Huh? How? You ain't even heard him yet. You don't even know him. You got a white lady on national TV telling black people that Tim Scott is a Clarence Thomas. I just don't understand it. I don't understand how y'all let that shit happen, because you know what? The people that's talking about him, you think putting you on. White boy Rick type shit. Oh my God. Now I'm going to be honest with you. I probably ain't going to vote for the man. But I'm going to give him a chance. I'm going to listen. So you don't believe somebody that says to you, or you don't want to believe a person that look like you who says to you, I want to make this in America for everybody. So when he says that, why you disbelieve him? That's what Obama said. Obama said that I want to make this in America for everybody. And that was like Al Green coming to your church preaching. Every time Obama said something, he just mesmerized everyone. But I look at the numbers. Now, I voted for Obama. Everybody know that. I go, look, I have no fear. I don't mind telling. And I told y'all why I voted for him. I took one on the chin. It wasn't for his policies. I knew his policies wasn't going to benefit black people specifically, but black folks voted for him specifically because he was black. I'm guilty. I did it. I admit it. But I'm a big enough man to admit when I do something, whether it's wrong, right, indifferent, backing up somebody, protecting myself. I'm big enough to admit when I did something. And I stand on my circle on my words. But what's killing me is how we allow people, just because you think they on your team, you allow them to be disrespectful. What has Tim Scott said to anybody in the public, whether we're white, black, purple, green, red, white, and blue person, what has he said or what has he done so far to deserve to be called a Clarence Thomas coon, clone coon, all that? What has he done to deserve that? You don't think about the sixth grade lunchroom table that I tell you about? Look, we ain't gonna like him. Let me tell you why we ain't gonna like him. Y'all didn't go through that shit in school, disliking somebody because that was the end thing to do. They never done nothing to you, never even said hello. You know, the first person that meets somebody in school when you're a new person in school, what I learned, now they didn't use this term when I first started. I've been to several schools in my life. I mean, because of how I moved. And what I learned looking back on it is no different than life. I don't know how many schools y'all been to, but think back on every time you went to a new school, if you didn't know somebody from that school and you had to integrate into that school and get to know people, who were the first motherfuckers that come to you? Who are the first people that speak to you, come to you, engage into you? I'm going to tell you how it was for me. It was always the haters. It was always the negative people that wanted to get to know you more. They wanted to know you first so they can go out and tell everybody else about you. Happened to me several times. Oh, don't fuck with the new dude. Don't mess with the now. You know, that's it. He from Cincinnati. Yeah, that don't say. See, the hater came and met me first. The big mouth, the chaos agents, come meet you first. What did I tell you? When I got out of school, my first job in Cincinnati, I could have went to New Orleans. I had several jobs lined up coming out of school. I wanted to go back home to Cincinnati. Always been my home. I'm happy to be here. I'm always going to call it home. I will always own a home in Cincinnati. Always. But the first job I ever took was with Metropolitan Housing 25 years ago, maybe 30 years ago now. I don't know. I told y'all this story. It ain't going to be long. I told you the first day out in the field, I had to go to the field. I worked in the legal division. And I had to go to the different departments. I go over to Section 8. And I get to meet all the supervisors who will be shuffling their paperwork to me of their set outs and the people that owe rent and back rents who I had to go to court on. That's what I did. And the first person that get to know me over in the Section 8 area is the chaos agent. That's the first person that come over and say hello. It's the first person that come over and ask me questions, interviewing me. And what this chaos agent didn't know is, I'm from Cincinnati, and it was a lady, it was a sister. And what she didn't know about me is that I knew people already. Like in Cincinnati that, you know what I'm saying? Like Cincinnati's small enough to know, okay, I went to school with dude back in the day and he worked at Metropolitan in maintenance. Or I went to school with her and she's a I don't know what they call them in Section 8. A lady that work in Section 8 that do the interviewing and whatever. I don't remember. It's been too long. But I had a couple different friends that I knew that worked there already. And here I go. The first person that comes to me is a chaos agent. That's the first one that want to get to know you. And the first one that is going to go out and say what they're going to say about you. And it's the first one who's going to interview you so they can go tell everybody about you, whether you going to make it or not. So that's how I look at the Tim Scott situation right now. The first ones that say the shit about him, those are your chaos agents and your haters. Because they ain't even gave the man a chance yet. You ain't gave me a chance on my job yet. You ain't gave the guy at the 6th grade or the girl at the 6th grade lunchroom table. You ain't even talked. Ain't nobody even talked to that girl yet. But you got 5 or 6 girls already ready to fight this girl who's new in school. Y'all know that shit happens. You know it happens. Stop playing. So, the way I look at it is, the first ones to introduce themselves usually are the chaos agents. The ones that have you at the lunchroom table and come talk to you first when you don't know anybody, those usually the chaos agents. Them the ones who are going to make it hard for you. So why they talking bad about this man that released 3,000 prisoners in his state and put them on educational programs? Why are they talking bad about a man who was pivotal in the Emmett Till bill in the United States? Why are they talking bad about him? I just want to know. Why are they talking bad about him? Somebody can help me with that. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? I didn't burn a video that I was going to play. I had spoke about something early this morning. It was the travel ban in Florida. I'm going to tell you something right now. Y'all can listen to that shit if you want to. I was going to burn you a video of when I was at home, not this last time, but it was my family had a get together and I had my nephew and his girlfriend. My nephew has a girlfriend that he's been with for a couple years now. They've been kicking it pretty strong. I'm happy for him. And my sister-in-laws all came down to the house, and we had a little get together, and it was during some type of, not spring, I think it may have been like spring break or something. Okay. And I'm gonna say something that a lot of people, y'all not gonna feel me when I say this, but I'm gonna say it. Now, I live in an area that in Florida that's pretty conservative, like laid back. You don't see a lot of people out on the streets. You really don't see a lot of people at all on the streets. You see people wake up early in the morning walking their dogs. It's a very quiet area. It's within walking distance of the beach. All right. And it's a real laid back area. And then about a mile up the road or up the street, there is a strip up there of restaurants that the back of the restaurants are on the beach. So people tend to walk up there or ride their bike or moped, whatever, up to like, there's a place called, it's called Texas Roadhouse. They have a wing place and they have tons of seafood places. There's probably about 10 or 11, maybe 12 restaurants in this little vicinity. And it's for the residents. It's for anybody that's there. Well, about 3 miles the other way, two miles the other way, there's hotels and things of that nature. And then there's this little toll bridge that comes over to our community where these little restaurants are. And it's getting, for the last 5 years, it's becoming saturated during spring break. For some odd damn reason, it's becoming an area that the youngsters want to come to. Because we have, in my section, we have clear water. You know, it's real clear water, really nice swimming water. And that comes from being on the Gulf side. All right, if anybody ever knows, I don't do Florida. I don't do the East Coast side. I always do the Gulf side if you want clean water. And the further south you go, the better the water is, just for you travelers. But some of you ain't going to go to Florida no more because NAACP told you not to go to Florida. Some of you going to you're going to follow the rule. You're going to follow what they telling you to do. Have at it. The reason why I'm telling you this story is because I hope some of you do. I wanted to download this video but I didn't. I forgot about it because I really wasn't coming on today. Tell you that. I really wasn't coming on today. I wasn't really feeling it. But I'm talking all night tonight. And if you're with me, you're with me. If you're not, I'll be here still sitting right here at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm on all day and all night tonight. And I'm going to talk until I can't talk no more. I'm going to take me a bathroom break. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to stay on all night to prove to myself that I can do it. But now let me finish my story. I hope some of you do look up the travel ban, especially some of them little young motherfuckers that have been coming in my community. That's been coming in and they've been crossing that bridge and they've been coming over to my nice neighborhood during spring break, staying at them hotels over there and coming up on mopeds and all that old shit that they didn't rent it up there or whatever and coming down to my area. And what I never told y'all, and I never said it because there was never a travel ban and NAACP ain't never been as crazy as they are for saying the shit they saying right now about Florida. I wasn't going to never say this shit because I know how some of y'all can get. If I start telling too much truth, you might start looking at me sideways like, oh, you really don't like black people. No, it's not that I don't like black people. I just don't like ninjas. Now, you can say what you want to say about that. You can hate me, cancel me. You know what? I need a break anyway. Cancel me. Started with foe, I'll talk to foe more. Cancel me if you don't like what I'm saying. But you better listen to what I'm saying before you cancel or hang up. Some of them I want to abide the NAACP rules because you know what happened over this spring break? My family came in to enjoy a spring break at my home. My sister-in-laws, my nephew. And you know what happened for the first time? I've been there for 10 years now. I built that house 10 years ago. This is the 11th year. 2023 is the 11th year. Never had any problem. I never even really heard a police siren. Not one. But all these spring break kids from a mile up the road, mile and a half, whatever it is, come down to our area in our little community and fuck it up. Throw shit on the ground, trash all on the ground. You pollute the freaking beach. We all taxpayers right here. And I took a video of it from my cell phone. You know what? I should have burned it. Hold on one second. I should have burned it. And you got a young boy out there who shot a kid. I never said anything about it. But my nephew and I walked from the house. And we were about 20 to 30 yards away from this shooting. In this quiet neighborhood that I live in. But you got 400 kids coming from the hotel district all the way down to where we live. Music banging and bumping. This is not Miami. Just total disrespect for my whole community. Music banging and everything. And I have never seen so many people in this little area waiting to get in these little restaurants. There's a little Hooters there, the whole nine, just waiting to get in, and so much chaos. And I have a receipt for it because on my cell phone, I hear a pow, pow, pow. I hear 3 shots. And I got my nephew with me. He's old, he's 30 years old, but we walking to get some wings to take back to the house. And you got all this chaos and shit going on in a neighborhood that's just not used to that. 5 minutes later, we see helicopter, we see lifeguard, patrol, and all that coming over toward the the eating district. I got 300, 400 kids around here. It looked like the shit. What is that down in Florida? What? It's not Miami. What's the other side of Miami? It looked like that strip down there right on the beach. So here's what I say to you. Go ahead and follow NAACP's rules, please. Keep your reckless, raggedy ass home, please. We don't want that type of shit around where we live. We don't want that. My neighbor just sunk $4 million into his property. What makes you think this brother want that type of shit around his home? See, these are shits that you don't hear about. You know why? White folks scared to tell you. They ain't gonna tell you. And if they say something, you know what they sound like when they tell you the truth about this shit. If they say something like, well, why are you in my neighborhood? You think they racist. No, they got a $4 million fucking crib they trying to keep the property value up on. I know you don't want to hear it. I know you don't want to hear it. But do you know why? Okay, I know why we want to think that all that property down on York Street in Cincinnati, that the white folks trying to take it from us and then they up the price on the shit. What tore the property value down in the first place? Grandma would come outside and sweep the steps every day and do the best she could to keep that shit clean. But it was the people in the neighborhood that tore down the damn property value, not white folks. Go on and cut me off. Go on and cut me off. You ain't even from there. Half y'all motherfuckers be arguing and complaining about downtown properties and shit. You wasn't even there. You don't know. You wasn't there at nighttime when all the ambulances and shit was running through Lynn Clark and Armory. You wasn't listening to it. You wasn't there. The fuck you talking about? You wasn't even there. And then you want to go to a city council meeting and talk about gentrification and all that old shit. We fucked downtown up. We owned downtown. Grandma and them had houses. Y'all fucked that up. You mad because you sold it for $40,000? Now it's worth $225. Whose fault is that? Show me redlining. Show me that in this. Y'all listen to this shit and get a 1954 mentality for some 2020 shit, and you don't even know what you're talking about. It's the people you mind your business on. You don't call the police on the bad motherfuckers in your neighborhood. And every time something happened in Westwood or whatever, don't nobody know shit. You settle for the nonsense and the chaos and all that old shit, and then we wonder why our neighborhoods are devalued. And then when somebody come around and take some shit that you really don't want, or take it and do something that you don't think to do with it, you mad at them. The system just throwing us out and displacing us and all that. That's not what it is. I'm giving you a perfect example of why people be gripped up on their property. My neighbor in Florida put $4.3 million into his expansion of his home across the street. I showed it to you. I showed it to you at my baby's birthday party. I showed it to you. He asked me, hey, you want to come in and see it? I said, nah, I'm going to wait for you to get finished with it. Plus, I didn't want to intrude. I had just started my live. I ain't about to take my live into this man's house. Y'all heard that. For those that seen it that day, y'all know what I'm talking about. I had just started my live, and he was like, hey, Wyatt, come check it out. And I'm like, oh, no, and his little dude that helped, I don't know what the contractor's name is or any of that. He was like, come on over. I'm like, no, I'll check it out when he's done. But when y'all finish, come do some shit. He was like, we could start next week. I said, I'm not ready for that upgrade yet. I'm not ready to do that. I'm waiting to retire before I start turning my house over the way it needs to be turned over. But now let's just be honest. I never said anything about this, and I might find the video because it's in my cell phone and it's probably going to take about 10 minutes to download it. But you would be surprised if I showed you a before and after picture of the strip of where I live. It's not Fort Lauderdale. It's not Miami or over in what's the other side of Miami? Miami is where y'all go and kick it and shit. I ain't been over there in so long. That's not really Miami over there. That is, what is that over there? Somebody put it on the screen. I got a brain freeze. Put it on the screen what area that is. It's not Fort Lauderdale. It's not Miami. It's you cross the bridge to go over there. As soon as somebody put it up there, it's going to come right to me. But now let me ask you something. If you get up and go to work every day and you buy a house and it's your pride and joy, South Beach. Thank you, Roz. South Beach. They have my community looking like South Beach. Thanks, Justin. There goes Sharp. Had my community, not just in front of my crib, my entire little neighborhood that I live in, looking like South Beach. Jeeps and trucks riding all over the place. The beach is all fucked up. I have no problem if you come in respectful. But you coming in throwing shit in people's yards, the wind is blowing, ice, you know how you put ice into a bucket and they just throw the bag down and it fly all up in people's yards and all. I'm like, what the fuck? And now you got gun violence in a neighborhood where you got people that don't live like that. Nobody should live like that. So yes, NAACP, let me promote it. I'm going to promote it even heavier. Keep your asses out of Florida. Yes, tell them it's the scariest place for you to be. Don't come. Don't come. I don't condone what they telling you some bullshit of why not to come, but I'm with them. Don't come. Everybody stay home this summer. Don't come next spring break. Tell them NAACP. Tell they ass. Don't come. And if I played this video that's on my phone, a live action, this was my cell phone and I caught it. If y'all seen how these kids and the police had to do these kids because these kids was acting like they was on South Beach in a quiet conservative neighborhood, you would understand why I feel the way I feel. And the only reason why I'm saying this now is because of this bullshit with NAACP down there. Because you know what? You never hear anything from the NAACP when people are killing each other in Florida. They don't say shit about that. They don't talk about none of that. They don't talk about none of that. They done jumped on this shit with Disney. Disney and black folks don't have nothing to do with each other. Disney and the state of Florida are battling LGBTQ plus issues. Why is the NAACP involving themselves in that shit? Y'all better follow the money. I said it first. You better follow the money. You better follow the money. NAACP ain't got, if all you can use is the argument that Florida, the state of Florida, is battling Disney because it's $1 billion industry, and that's how you gonna get in the argument, that means you getting paid to be in that argument. You're being paid to be an instigator, to work for them. You being paid to do that. Who was with me 4 months ago when I sniffed it? I smelt it, 4 months ago when I said, oh shit, here come NAACP telling people to be careful in Florida. And I said it. I said, this guy, I said something wrong here. Before it was an issue right now. I said it to you. I said, oh shit, they trying to get the black people involved in their fight. The LGBT community know to go get the black power. They know to go get the black people to head their fights. They know to do that because ain't nobody gonna say nothing to the black folks. Once they go get Al Sharpton in them and they get the regular people that's on payroll, we got it. Florida don't give a shit about what, listen, first of all, y'all got to understand the structure of how Florida and Disney is working. Y'all don't even know. So when you hear all this virtual talk and this, this old side shit, you don't even know the structure. First of all, let me just say this to you for those that don't know. I'm going to simplify it for you. So the next time you talk to one of your politicians with a D or an R in front of their name, you'll have a real conversation with them. Or at least you'll be prepared to at least look like you can have an intelligent conversation with one of them. This is what you tell them. Well, this is what you need to know. Disney is its own government in Florida. Did y'all know that? Did you know it was its own government? Did you know they write their own rules and they do it? They have their own police department, their own fire division, their own hospital, their own jail, their own court system. They have their own it's a world within Florida. Did you know that? It ain't just called Disney World for nothing. It's a world within itself. See how they go? See how they leave? See how they leave? I ain't entertaining enough. Go ask your man on the radio that you've been listening to forever and a day what he know about Disney, because all I heard him do was and he. The whole time somebody was saying something bad about Florida, saying something bad about DeSantis, saying something bad about Disney, saying something good about Disney. All he could do was yeah. That's what they say. That's what they say. Typical ass unstudied motherfuckers. That's what they say. Yep. Disney has their own world. Did you know that? They pay a fee for that. It's been that way for 40 years. But Disney can make enough money that they pay a fee to do what they do down there. But the state of Florida makes so much money on taxes off of them that it's unreal. And what I mean by that is Disney don't own all of the hotels. Disney don't own all of the gas stations in Orlando or Kissimmee or wherever you want to call it. All those hotels around the surrounding area are property of private owners and all that. Matter of fact, for y'all that don't know, y'all heard me say this morning, but Florida is the number one state when it comes to black ownership. Didn't know that, now did you? Except if you were listening this morning. If you were listening this morning, you might have already known, but I'm here to tell you, and you can go check it out for yourself. Disney is the number one state for black entrepreneurs, black ownership of business. It's number 2 in the United States for Latinos, private ownership and entrepreneurship. It's number 2 also for women. So now let me ask you something. What makes sense? Make this make sense to me. Make this fucking make sense to me. The NAACP is telling black folks not to go to the most fruitful state, no pun intended, for black business, for black owned business. It's the number one state for black entrepreneur and black ownership of businesses. It's the number 2 state for Latinos, and it's the number 2 state for women that own businesses. Now make this make sense that they telling you not to go there. Who does it hurt more? Who does it hurt more? Think of the 3 people that I just discussed with you, the 3 groups of people, the black folks, the Latino folks, and women. Those are all considered to be the people that have it the worst in this country, but they got it the best in Florida when it comes down to the economic growth of being an American. Please explain to me why you want to try to turn people away from that. Can anybody make that make sense? Where my ladies at? Where my ladies at? Come on, ladies. That's the second best place in America for you to go start a business. There's more women that are doing their own business in Florida than any state in the United States of America. There's more black people in the state of Florida that are entrepreneurs and running their own business and running big business. I'm a registered business owner in Florida. I'm just trying to tell you, there has to be a reason why people are getting a check to tell you these things that are so bad. There has to be a reason. Why is NAACP involving themselves or even using Disney in the conversation of how people are being treated in Florida? NAAC is for colored people, not LGBTQ. Why are you involving yourself in these conversations? I know I played this video earlier today, but for the people that didn't see this in this morning, I want to play it for the afternoon crowd. I just want you to hear this, and you tell me if it's right or wrong. Check this out.
NAACP has issued a travel advisory for Florida, and it's urging the black community to avoid visiting or moving to the Sunshine State. According to the statement, the advisory comes in direct response to Republican Governor Ron DeSantis' quote, aggressive attempts to erase black history. And it calls Florida openly hostile toward African Americans, people of color, and the LGBTQ individuals. CNN has reached out to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for comment, but did not receive a response.
This is just really stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Look, I've lived in Florida since 1996 after I graduated high school. I went to college, got married, started a career, lived normal life. Went to church, raised kids, coached sports. Yesterday when the Miami Heat, and congratulations to the Heat going up 3-0 on the Boston Celtics, by the way. But when the Miami Heat, were beating down the Celtics last night in Miami, TNT was showing footage of different boats in the water. And on a bunch of these different boats are black people having a good time out on the water. I don't even know what the NAACP is talking about. This is silly and it's dumb. It's political. It makes no sense. We should be focused on making sure people actually have the opportunity to achieve, which Florida is actually doing and thriving in way better than other states, let's say New York or California or Washington State. We're doing a significantly better job helping black Americans succeed. And it's not just about me, it's about all the millions of black people that live in our state.
They don't really want you to hear that. They really don't want you to hear that. Now, how is it that the NAACP has tagged Florida as being openly hostile towards black people? How is it that the NAACP has tagged Florida as being hostile towards black people? Have you ever seen the NAACP say that Philadelphia or the state of Pennsylvania is hostile? Have you ever heard them say that Chicago, Illinois is hostile? This is where deaths happen. This is overwhelmingly on weekends. It was 32 shot in Chicago over the weekend, 23 injured severely. Why hasn't there ever been an NAACP step up and say this is a hostile territory for black people? Something needs to be fixed. I've never seen NAACP go out to California and classify it as a hostile territory for black people, even with the gang activity. They ain't never stepped up and done that shit. Please explain it to me. Make it make sense. But you're going to come up and team up with the LGBTQ community and LGBTQ people, folks, I ain't got nothing but love for you. Everybody on this channel know this ain't even about y'all. This ain't about you, your personal. I love you. I really do. I don't care if men want to be women. I don't care if women want to be men. I don't care if you want to be a man and want to be with a man. I don't care if you a woman and want to be. This ain't got shit to do with that. It don't have nothing to do with that. I ain't got nothing but love for everybody. Trust me. But what I got a problem with is when we get hijacked and you pretend that you fighting for me when you fighting for somebody else. Just like Black Lives Matter. I know that's going to get me canceled. How much time we got left? We good? Black Lives Matter, where the money at? Where the money at? Where's all the black agenda? Where's all the money at towards the black communities and the black causes? And y'all know what it was. We get the NAACP involved, and then we'll bring in Uncle Al. We'll bring in Perm in the suit. And then we'll make this about LGBT. We'll make this about education, rights of black people having education. That's what we'll make it about. I told y'all 4 months ago when I seen it coming. I said the head of the NAACP down here, I was in Florida. I said the head of the NAACP down here just said something about it's not right down here in Florida for black people. And if you want to see some black people with some money, go to Florida. And it ain't just lottery winners. It's not just everybody didn't scratch off $1 million ticket or hit the pick four or the mega Powerball. It ain't just that. You got people that have worked their entire life, ran a business, a dry cleaner or bowling alley, ran their businesses and sold them. And then you got some of them that take their ideas from their local hometown. For instance, one of the things that I see down there close to where I live is a Skyline Chili. A guy from Cincinnati opened up a Skyline Chili in Florida. It's the one, I think he might have 2 of them. But people are retiring there. I see people saying retirement state, retirement. They retiring, but they ain't dying. They retiring, and they need shit to do. There's people in Florida that retired at the age of 40, 45 and 50. But they need shit to do. You know where they go? They don't just lay out. They're not in old folks' homes. They go out and party. They go do what they do. They go to the movies. They go to putt-putt. They go to different things. They go to black-owned businesses. And this guy, Stacey Abrams, written all over it. She fucked up $500 million for people in Atlanta. Everybody know it, except for the people that just want to be like, hey, well, you know, the game was going to be played in the suburbs. You know, that's like saying the Jazz Festival is in Cincinnati. The Jazz Festival is in Cincinnati, and it brings about $200 million to the Cincinnati area. And that's like saying that black people don't touch that $200 million. We do. Because it's at the because the Jazz Festival is at the stadium, don't mean people that live in Mason, black folks that live in Mason and live in the surrounding areas in Kentucky and all that, they touching that Jazz Festival money too. They work at the airport. They drive Ubers. They own restaurants and bars. And they're getting that money because that $200 million that come in the city of Cincinnati for Jazz Festival explodes into the economy. And if you ain't in line to get some of it, that's on you. Figure this shit out. But Stacey Abrams and them wanted to, what did they do? They didn't do a travel ban like this is. It's the same shit. You doing a boycott. She boycotted $500 million out of the city or out of the state of Georgia, specifically out of the city of Atlanta for the All-Star game. And where did they take it? Colorado. How many black folks you know got businesses in Colorado? Keep on following them fucked up ass leaders. I got time today. How many black folks out in Colorado you think had girls, women in their chair to do their hair for the All-Star game that weekend like it would have been in Atlanta? How many people that own black restaurants and bars and clubs in Atlanta missed out on money from 500 million coming into their city? And now these motherfuckers trying to do the same thing to the business owners of Florida. That's what's going on. And you know what? It ain't even about CRT and all that old shit. Think about it. We live in a age of digital. We live in a world where we can learn. These kids ain't learning. They learning more on TikTok than they learning in high school anyway. Give a kid a cell phone and a YouTube shit setup or a TikTok setup in the 3rd grade, he gonna learn more on his cell phone than he learning in the schools. That's how they learning these days. You worried about see these are things, these are distractions, folks. These are distractions to keep my people diverted on issues that we really shouldn't be worried about. Are you telling me that kids in our community, are you telling me kids in my community, in our community, would go to school more? It wouldn't be any truancy. They would get higher grades. Education from parents would be more important only if the schools taught CRT. Only if they start talking about Black history more. That would make our kids go to school more and value education more. Y'all know that's some bullshit. We got a lot of black kids graduating from high school and college these days, going off to be great. Matter of fact, damn it, I might as well do it now. Why don't I just show you a couple of them right now? How about this? Look at my beautiful people. Them are my babies. Those are my babies. Trinity and Randy. Those are my babies. Those are graduates of 2023. Huh? I would have threw a rock on the stage. I know this is going to get me bleeped. I would have threw a rock on the stage if President Biden, Secret Service would have either shot my ass or took me to jail if he would have came to my school and he would have did the commemorative speech and told my motherfucking children that white supremacy is the biggest problem in America right now. I'd have threw my shoe at his ass. I'd have done some shit that would have got me on YouTube and everything else, not even thinking about it. Y'all would have said Wyatt is going to jail for the rest of his life. I'd have threw something at his ass for saying that bullshit. What he should have said to those HBC students that are getting their master's degree, college degree, and everything, you know what he should have told them? You are conquering America. You have the key to go in any direction you ever want to go in this country. You have that degree you have in your hand allows you to do anything you want to do in this world. That's the key to your success right there. Instead, if he would have told my baby who spent all those sleepless nights studying, we done spent $150,000 at OSU, you would have told my baby that white supremacy is her biggest challenge. I mean, that's the biggest threat in America. I'd have cussed Biden ass out without a microphone. I'd have stood up. They'd have had to kick me out of there because I don't fall for bullshit like that. Don't talk down to us. Y'all don't get it. Y'all let these motherfuckers, y'all let white boy Rick get away with that shit because he put y'all on. And this motherfucker ain't even put you on to nothing and you're letting him be reckless with his mouth. What he done for you? I'll wait. What has he done for you? Oh, I got time today. Put it in the screen. What has he done for you? And don't answer me like, well, what did Trump do for you? What did Obama do for you? Don't answer it that way. Let's be current. Every time I hear a radio show or a podcast, they talk about Trump more than they talk about the current president. Y'all hear me say that shit all the time. I'm off of it. Let me put my babies up there again. I'm so proud. I'm a proud dad because I graduated with my kids, me and my wife. Hold on. Where my babies at? Where we at together? Where we all at? Let's put this one up. How about that one? That's the family. Now, I put this picture up in the Wyatt Live Messenger group, the family group. Thank you for everybody that gave us shots out. My wife is not really on posting and putting facial and putting pictures and all that up. She don't do that. She told me, don't let everybody in our house like that. I respect it. I know what she mean because everybody don't root for you. People see how you living and they want you to be doing bad. And that's just the truth. I don't care. I'll say what I say. Look at my babies. Put it up. Deuce is up. Look at my babies. That's hard work right there. That's dedication and hard work. And if that man would have told my babies that the white supremacy is the number one thing, it's the number one threat in America, I would have threw something at his ass. I know I'm going to get flagged on YouTube or on Facebook, but I don't care. I'd have threw something at his punk ass for saying that shit. That's why them black kids at I think it was Howard, that's why they laughed at his ass, his punk ass, when he said, no, I wouldn't say that. I'm not just saying this because I'm at a black college. Yes, you are. You didn't go to a white college and say that shit. Why don't you send that information to the white crowds at Harvard or at Yale or whatever school you went to, sir? Whatever school you graduated from, your law school. Go where you went to school, Biden, and tell your group, your graduating class of 2023, tell them to stop being white supremacists. Don't come to the black schools telling us, get ready, because, the biggest threat in America is white supremacy. You sound goofy as fuck, bro. Stop. And the more I watch podcasts that are not in my city or not around where I live, these young brothers and sisters that had these podcast shows, and I'm starting to see I ain't as crazy as people think I am. And I don't think I know I'm not crazy. Sometimes you will second guess yourself. You ever been in a room and you the only one that noticed something? And you be like, I know I ain't crazy, but I know that motherfucker ain't got on no flip-flops. It's 3 feet of snow outside. Am I the only one in here that see this? Everybody on this podcast has been somewhere, and you think you the only one that noticed something, but let me give you a secret. You're not the only one that noticed it. I promise you. You just might be the only one that's willing to say something. You might just be the only one that's willing to look at it crazy for what it really is and be like, what? And everybody else is just normalized. It's just normal to them. But now I'm just going to tell you. I just don't understand why we don't have a problem with somebody saying to us who's supposed to be the leaders, the pillar of our community, telling us not to go to the state. Have you heard anything from the Black Business Association in Florida? How they feel about what was said by the NAACP? Anybody seen a YouTube thing on them yet? Have anybody heard from the Black Business Company or Coalition in Florida? I pay $150 a year to be part of that. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to reach out to them tomorrow. I'm going to ask them, can I get a response either by email, by phone? Can I get a response of how we feel as a union, as a collective group? How do we feel about the NAACP putting that release out about this being a hostile territory for Black people? How do Black business owners feel about that in Florida? I'd love to hear the response on that. Anybody else want to hear that one? I'm going to put it out tomorrow. I'm going to call them. I pay them $150 a year. They send me a newsletter. We hear about the different the different, rates and different loan value, different things that you get as what you qualify for as minority companies and all of that. So I'm going to reach out to them tomorrow, and I want to see how they feel about the NAACP in Florida saying what they said. I'm going to play this other clip right here because I got time today. Told y'all I'm not going nowhere. I told you I didn't feel like doing it, but I'm here now. I'm here now. So I'm going to play this clip right here, and I want y'all to listen to the NAACP and what they saying about Florida, how it's hostile. I'm going to let the clip play full out. As much as I want to interrupt this bullshit, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to let it play out first, and then I'm going to revisit it. I'm going to revisit it. All right, here it go.
You your comments on this. So the Florida Chamber of Commerce sent in a statement about the advisory that the NAACP that you all sent out. And here's sort of what it says. Regarding the national group's notice to certain travelers, we have no comment. However, on the economic diversification front, in just the last few years, Florida has moved into the #1 spot in the United States for Black-owned businesses, and #2 for Hispanic, and #2 for women-owned businesses as well. When you hear those numbers, what they are saying is, look, African Americans and Hispanics are doing quite well here when it comes to running their own businesses and being able to make money here and being able to live decent lives. How do you address that with this new ban?
First of all, that's propaganda language. Over the last several years, it wasn't because of anything he did in policy. Florida, by geography, is an attractive place where people would like to go. But he's fighting the largest company in the state with Disney around tourism. They just pulled out $1 billion. He is minimizing the quality of education by taking away the diversity for children to learn. He has sought to cause harm by saying that every citizen can carry a gun without permit. Those are not business attractive policies. Those are regressive policies that's going to hit a dead end. So you can spin the whatever language you would like to have. The policies that he has put in place are harmful policies to far too many individuals. And I can tell you what Disney has been doing, what we have this call for, it is a trend that's about to pick up, not slow down.
Yeah, he and Disney are in a massive fight over that LGBTQ plus law that was put in place, which
the White House.
NBC News reached out to the governor's office. Haven't received any response yet. Have you been contacted by Florida officials? And prior to this, I'm wondering, did you try to address your concerns directly with the governor or other state leaders?
Well, our state NAACP leaders and other leaders of the Legislative Black Caucus in Florida and many officials in Florida, including corporations like Disney's, have reached out, made it appeals, but it's gone on deaf ears. He is appealing to the lowest common denominator of humanity. He's seeking to amplify the voice of a small minority of individuals who lack any integrity or morality in terms of their neighbors and other individuals. Using race and othering as a political platform is not a winning strategy. It's un-American, it's undemocratic, and it can be potentially harmful.
Ultimately, what do you hope to accomplish here?
Well, it's raising the consciousness of people across the country. It is making sure that if individuals have to go to Florida, they know to be cautious, but more importantly, to partner with groups on the ground. This problem is a result of an election. It would only be fixed as a result of an election. So we are preparing now for future elections, not only against Governor DeSantis, but other policymakers who hold this point of view. If we don't stop this trend now, we will not have an American that's recognizable 5 years from now.
Just next hour, the only...
All right. I thought I would be fair this time instead of interrupting like I did this morning. I probably chopped it up and tore it up and made it bad. I thought I would be fair and let him get everything out. I don't want to be smarter than everybody. I'm not trying to do that by trying to dissect what he's saying and all this old goofy shit. I want everybody to have their own judgment and make up their own mind about how they feel about this. But now, can we start from the beginning a little bit from this clip right here? I'm going to put him back up on the big screen. I want you to hear this, okay? I want you to hear what I hear. Check this out.
Ask you your comments on this. The Florida Chamber of Commerce sent CNN a statement about the advisory that the NAACP that you all sent out. And here's sort of what it says. Regarding the national group's notice to certain travelers, we have no comment. However, on the economic diversification front, in just the last few years, Florida has moved into the #1 spot in the United States for Black-owned businesses, and #2 for Hispanic, and #2 for women-owned businesses as well. When you hear those numbers, what they are saying is, look, African Americans and Hispanics are doing quite well here when it comes to running their own businesses and being able to make money here and being able to live decent lives. How do you address that with this new ban?
First of all, that's propaganda.
Okay, he just said that's propaganda. We all know what propaganda is, which is made up lies to elevate an untruth statement, right? It's something that they use. It's a COVID word now. Y'all know some people learn new words during COVID because we couldn't go nowhere, so we were on the internet listening to other people's dialect and their word choices and things of that nature. So this happens to be one of the words that he wants to use that is common to the ear now that you hear on CNN a lot. Matter of fact, let me say this. Shout out to CNN for even going here with it. This story right here was brought to us by CNN, and I salute them for even bringing up the positive and the real about what's going on to the Black people in Florida, which means it's the #1 state thriving for Black entrepreneurship, Black business owners. It's the #1 state in the country. It's the #2 state in the country for Latino business owners. It's the #2 state in the country for women-owned businesses. And what does this man say to that? That's propaganda. Which means he's saying that's a lie. That's a nice way of saying it's a made up lie just to make something sound different or good, but it's untrue. And what he just said is untrue. He just said that it's propaganda. Now, here's my big question about after he can't answer that question honestly. Now I have to question your character. I have to question that. And then it became very clear when I questioned your character, and he'll see this, they'll see this on YouTube because I'm going to forward this to the NAACP in Florida. I'm going to send it to the Florida chapter in my area. I'm going to send it. And I want answers. I want to know why you would call something that's true in the Black community propaganda. I want to know why you have a representative, the CEO, your president, on here saying that Black ownership in Florida state for Black folks. I want to know why you called it propaganda. And then here's the other piece that I'm going to add to this. Watch how this is not even about Black people anymore. This is about Disney. What does Disney have to do? What's their argument with Florida right now? Is it pertaining to Black people? Is it a specific thing that they think that's not being worked out with Black folks? Is Florida, the state of Florida, having a squabble with Disney because of Black folks? Why is the NAACP speaking on Florida versus Disney? What business is it of the NAACP to see that Disney is walking away from Florida and letting a $1 billion project go away? Why does NAACP care about that? Because you are joining the LGBTQ plus community. This is their fight, and it's pretty damn obvious. They got you on this travel ban shit. They got you on this is detrimental to Florida shit. Because it would be asinine stupid for you as an organization where majority of your people who own businesses are Black. Why would you tell people not to come patronize those businesses? Who would you be hurting? What businesses are going to suffer? If you telling people not to come to the state, let me let you finish hearing this, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Look at how he's talking more about Disney and the economics of Disney. Disney in Florida is into it about LGBTQ issues, not black people issues. Like NAACP stand for the last letter, colored people. Think about it. Why are you fighting this fight? This ain't even your fight, bro.
Language over the last several years. It wasn't because of anything he did in policy. Florida, by geography, is an attractive place where people would like to go. But he's fighting the largest company in the state with Disney around.
There's a diversion right there. He's saying the only reason why people are successful in Florida is because it's a vacation spot. But that don't mean that the black people that don't mean they should be doing good just because people go there to vacation. There's no rule or anything that says black people can't have businesses in Florida. You see what I'm saying? He's not talking about how bad it is for the business owners and the economic growth of black people in America in Florida. He's talking about Disney in Florida. The issues that Disney in Florida have. That ain't your fight, NAACP. Why are you involved in that? What are you talking about? You can't even stick to the point of why you on the show. We want to know why black people shouldn't come to Florida. He might as well just say, don't go to Disneyland. That's what you should be saying, if anything, bro. You should be telling black people, come to Florida, but don't go to Disneyland, because that's who you representing right now is Disneyland. See how crazy that sound, what I just said? That's how I take this.
Around tourism. They just pulled out $1 billion. He is minimizing the quality of education by taking away the diversity for children to learn. He has sought to
learn what? He's taking the ability out for the community and the black people to learn what? What is it that he's talking about, y'all? Somebody help me out. What is this brother telling us that that the state of Florida is trying to do to our black kids? Not teach them CRT? Not teach them LGBTQ lifestyle ways and shit in these books? Is that your argument, bro? So all of a sudden, you care that they're not teaching AP classes of black history in your schools in Florida? All of a sudden you care now? Do you know what the curriculum is? Do you really think that they're trying to pull black history out of the textbooks in Florida? You really think we that docile? You really think that we would think that's what's going on? You don't think there's other agendas in those books that are being passed on to our kids? You know, this is the same administration right now, whether y'all want to hear it or not. Shout out to CNN. I'll give them a shout out. This is the same administration that has gone over to Africa with $60 million and got thrown out. We don't want your LGBTQ agendas over here, Kamala Harris. Go home. We don't want that. But these guys right here have taken the money, obviously. They've jumped on board to have art to fight with LGBTQ communities, and what they have done is they has included in the argument black people because they know that's a sensitive conversation to have. They know that everybody will jump on board or be real sensitive. They know white folks ain't gonna argue. They know black folks won't speak against it because they'll shut each other down. Y'all heard what happened to me this morning. I say one thing about a black lady and they twist it all the way up. I got nothing but black people in my immediate home. Let me let you see me when I say this. It ain't nothing but black women and black hair and beautiful black women in my home. I raised 2 beautiful black children, girls. So what the fuck how would you even think that I have any malice or that I would think something nasty of a beautiful black girl? Why would I even feel that way? But I will admit when one is getting used for her ethnicity, I will let you know she's being used for her dreads and her dark skin on national TV because they know Whoopi Goldberg is going to say what she going to say. And she run them other women on that show. They ain't gonna say nothing nasty to her. They let her have her way. That's just what it is. She's literally the bully. I ain't going in on it, LaDonna, like that. I just had to make it relevant, just like this dude right here. This guy right here is working. He is a double agent. The NAACP of Florida, they're going to see this. I'm calling y'all a double agent. Check my books. Check my neighbors' books. Check the black folks in Florida that are in business. Let me hear the business black folks of Florida. Let me hear what they say. The NAACP don't speak for me. What does the NAACP do in your city? Maybe they better in your city. Maybe they better in Cincinnati. But this motherfucker right here is ridiculous, the shit he talking about right now. He can't even stick to a colored person's point of view. The argument ain't about colored people no more. The argument is about what DeSantis and Florida is doing with Disney, and Disney's argument and fight with DeSantis in Florida ain't got nothing to do with black people. Follow the money.
Cause harm by saying that every citizen can carry a gun without permit. Those are not business attractive policies. Those are regressive policies that's going to hit a dead end.
Now you see how he's saying that being able to carry a gun openly and all that shit is, I guess that's what he's saying is detrimental to black people. So my question is, where's the consistency, NAACP? Where is the NAACP chapter of Chicago? Why haven't they come forward and said black people need to stop coming to Chicago? I used to go, me and my wife, we would go to Chicago 2 times, 3 times a year just to go chill. But the crime has been up so high and they changing policies where people could just be a crook and get booked and come back out. I'm not going. You ain't got the NAACP ain't got to stand up and tell me not to come to Chicago. But my question is, why haven't you told the masses of black people across the country, don't come to Chicago? It is very hostile in Chicago for black people. Why haven't you ran a travel ban to Chicago? Where's the NAACP for Chicago at? What's more hostile? Disney down there disrespecting, I don't know, you can call it disrespecting LGBTQ people. It ain't my fight. I don't know what the fuck they got going on, but I know it ain't got nothing to do with the NAACP. So now let me ask you this. What's more threatening to black folks, to me, you, and whoever else? Us going to Florida? Is that more hostile for us? Or going to Chicago and might not make it home? 32 shootings in Chicago over the weekend. 23 majorly damaged. 23, I don't know how many died out of that 23, but I don't think that's too many. I don't care if you got shot in the pinky toe. That's too many people getting shot. And there ain't been no travel ban for black folks not to go to Chicago, Philadelphia, LA. Not one time have the NAACP told y'all not to come here because it's hostile for black people. But that's where black people get shot up more than anybody. But now the NAACP gonna come to the state that I live in and gonna tell y'all don't come here, even though it's the number one state in the country for black entrepreneurs and black business owners. And who do you think gonna suffer? They took money. I don't care what nobody say. The only way it makes sense. Look, I've been living long enough to know. All right, y'all can say, well, Wyatt, you're just assuming. You can assume you can say all the shit that's obvious to you in your mind. I know money. I know how money work. I can hear how money fluctuates people. I understand when a motherfucker on the take. And I know when they ain't got nothing they can't explain it. So I already know how it's been done. I already know what happened. Let me just say this to y'all and you can take this and put it on your memory cards. You can put it on your life lesson. You can say, Wyatt, I knew that before you. You can say whatever you want to say. But I always was raised this way. My granny always told me, she said, Rand, if it don't make no sense, then it's making dollars. Smoke that one. If it ain't making no sense, Rand, then it's making dollars. And this shit right here don't make no sense what he talking about.
So you can spin the whatever language you would like to have. The policies that he has put in place are harmful policies to far too many individuals. And I can tell you what Disney has been doing, what we have this call for, it is a trend that's about to pick up.
You hear what he just said? What Disney is doing and what we're going through, this is a trend that's about to pick up. What is Disney doing, folks? I don't know everything about this situation with Disney, but I know it's dealing with LGBTQ in the Disney organization as far as employee staffing. I do know a little bit about it. I haven't dug deep in it. I got other shit to worry about. But the truth of the matter is, Disney did some things that the state of Florida don't agree with their employees, with LGBTQ community. Florida don't agree that certain things should be around children. Disney has their own government within that land that they own. So now Disney and Florida is going at it because Florida is trying to tell them, we're not going to allow you to abuse Florida sees this as child abuse. We're not going to let you have all this LGBTQ interaction with children at Disney. Not on our watch. That's not what we agreed to 30 years ago. So now Disney is having a problem and saying, hey, we going to do what we want to do. And if you don't let us do what we want to do, then we'll move or we'll not do this $1 billion project. And Florida's they're not buckering. They don't give a fuck. They like, all right, cool. Y'all get the fuck gone. Don't spend the $1 billion. Because what they understand, Florida understands, hey, we still got beaches. The beaches ain't going nowhere when Disney go away. Go ahead and sell the land and let Cedar Fair or Cedar Park or somebody else come in here. Take your Disney ass on somewhere. Don't nobody fuck with Mickey Mouse no more anyway. We'll bring somebody else in. Oh, you want to do that? Oh, then I guess Universal will just get bigger then. Universal and Disney battle down in Florida. Okay, then you sell the land to Universal and let them have all those 300 acres of land. 2,000 acres of land that you own down there, Disney. Sell it to Universal. Florida is going through it with Disney for other situations. It don't have nothing to do with black folks. So why is NAACP using Florida and Disney in his argument? Why is he using it? Because he don't have a solid answer. He don't have a solid argument. Because of what? You said because of people being able to carry guns openly? That's detrimental to black people in Florida. It should be detrimental to black people in Chicago. This organization is on the take. And the only reason why, now you got Al Sharpton and all the regular gang involved in this shit. The Al Sharptons and everybody else that can get a little bit of traction of being a leader in our community. And this is what our leadership has come to come on here and biffle and baffle over bullshit and try to look smart while doing it. Bro, you look crazy. And I'm calling y'all out on it. And I am sending this video directly to the NAACP of Florida. I promise you. And here, ain't this a mess? The damn CEO of NAACP live in Tampa Bay. Shut y'all dumb ass.
Slow down.
Yeah, he and Disney are in a massive fight over that LGBTQ plus law that was put in place, which
the White House.
NBC News reached out to the governor's office, haven't received any response yet. Have you been contacted by Florida officials? And prior to this, I'm wondering, did you try to address your concerns directly with the governor or other state leaders?
Well, our state NAACP leaders and other leaders of the Legislative Black Caucus in Florida and many officials in Florida, including corporations like this, have reached out, made appeals, but it's gone on deaf ears. He is appealing to the lowest common denominator of humanity. He's seeking to amplify the voice of a small minority of individuals.
Read the heading right up under his name. They're issuing out a travel advisory. The NAACP is issuing out a travel advisory saying Florida is openly hostile toward people of color, LGBTQ individuals. Why is NAACP associating themselves with that organization or whatever? What's the collaboration? I don't get it. Because you know what they done? The LGBTQ came out and got them. The NAACP, honestly speaking, didn't go get the LGBTQ community. They're not using the LGBTQ community to get their point across. It's the other way around. The LGBTQ community went out and got the NAACP some kind of way. Y'all just don't see how this shit is working. It's clear as day to me. I can obviously see how this shit is panning out and why it's in place, who's getting what, and why they're there. I can clearly see it. It's just like Black Lives Matter. Who was on the front of the banner? Black people. Who was it agenda to? LGBTQ community. This is obvious as the last thing that you couldn't see. But this is very transparent to me. This is very transparent to me. And we need to stop it. We need to understand that you got somebody that's willing to slow down the whole economic process, the whole economic growth of Florida to get their own agenda going on the sacrifices. I got to bring myself up so you can see it. On the sacrifices of black people. They're willing to hurt black businesses in order to get their point across to work with the LGBTQ community. I mean, am I the only one that see it that way? Correct me if I'm wrong and I'll shut up. I'll shut up. I won't say another word about it if I'm wrong. Somebody call me and tell me I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off base. Maybe the catcher caught me stealing. That's a baseball term, guys. Some people don't follow baseball. Maybe I took too big of a lead and maybe I'm guessing wrong. Maybe it's not as transparent as I thought it was. Maybe I'm connecting the dots in the wrong frame. But this is pretty damn transparent to me. This man's arguments are not about black people. And everything that he tries to incorporate into his argument, it's things that the NAACP have never taken action on in troubling states that have black cities where black people are suffering. There's never been a travel ban to those cities because it's detrimental to black people. It's never been that. So why now? This is political, obviously. But this shows you that our leadership is willing to sacrifice black people just to be in a political position. These people that run these offices and shit, power is a motherfucker, man. It'll make you sell your kids. It's the same power of smoking crack. Anybody ever wonder why crackheads do they people so bad? You got mothers out here that when I was coming up in the 90s, crack was ruling shit. Mamas would sell everything and get rid of their kids, leave their kids at home. Crack a bad motherfucker. It's just like power. Look at this crack ass shit right here. He's willing to sell his people out to get power. That's some crack shit. Somebody explain. And here go the thing. I seen it 4 months ago. Who remember that? Where Tracy Dillingham and them, they keep up with us. I told you, I said, oh, this shit about to come up here in a little bit. It'll be election time. Some people are already structuring a plan. They already got the blueprint out of what direction they want to go into. You see, what y'all don't understand is there's one party that creates chaos. There's one group of people that need as much chaos around people so you can't think clearly. The more distracted you are and angry you are about something, you can never make the proper decision. Anybody ever been, I know this is an obvious question, but I'm going to pose it anyway. Anybody ever been mad at somebody? You ever been, I'll use somebody. I don't want to use kids because that's obvious. But you ever been mad at a motherfucker and you just been like, you was so mad, you said something to him and you did something to him, paid him back some kind of way. And after you weren't angry anymore, you were still upset, but you wasn't so angry that you would take some type of action. You ever took action on somebody and then when you calm down a little bit, you say to yourself, I wish I wouldn't have done that. I wish I wouldn't have done that. I wish I wouldn't have said that to them. I wish I wouldn't have done that to them. I wish I wouldn't have told on them for that. I wish I wouldn't have put my hands on them. I wish I wouldn't have said what I said to that person. Everybody's been that way. If you haven't been there in your life, you're not human. You might have done it and don't remember you've done it, but we've all done that before in our life. There's people that play on those emotions on purpose. They want you to make decisions when you're not in the right frame of mind, when you're angry and mad and distraught. They want you to make decisions because they know you're not going to make the best decision when you're angry. You're going to make an emotional decision versus a logical decision. And some people want you to vote emotionally. They don't care if it makes sense to you or not. They want you to vote in an emotional kind of way. So what they do is they start creating all these things to make it seem like somebody's against you. And then you go into the voting booth angry at a motherfucker and you never even understood their policies, don't know their policies, that you think they a coon, because y'all do know that black people have already taught other black people since we were born, since we were little kids, that if you're a black man and you're a Republican, or if you're a black woman and you're Republican, you're a coon. You're against us. And if you let the people on The View say it, the white ones and the black ones tell you, if you're a black Republican, you are a Clarence Thomas clone. You don't even know Tim Scott. You don't know any of these black people that are running for president. But since he's black and not a Democrat and all this old shit, you already got him figured out. He ain't for black people if he a Republican. You ever thought of why you think that? Let me ask you something. All my Democrats real fast. I don't hate you or dislike you because you're a Democrat, and I don't love you or dislike you or hate you because you're a Republican. But I got a question for my Democrats, because I know I got both here. People just tolerate me. Y'all tolerate me for saying things about your party, both Republicans and Democrats, and I appreciate you for tolerating me for that. But I got a question specifically for my Democrats, if you don't mind. If whoever's going to run for president of the United States, if Tim Scott, the black man, who's a Republican, is running for president of the United States, which he is, he announced it yesterday. If he said, if you vote for me, now this is totally illegal, but I just want to know if he asked this, would you do it? If he says, if you vote for me, I'm going to send you a check, which is called rebating. You can't do that. I'm going to send you a check for $1,000. Cold cash, baby. I'm going to send you a cashier's check. Would you vote for Tim Scott even though you're a Democrat? Would you vote for him if he came with $1,000 attached to it? Would you vote for him? Or would you be so angry and mad at this individual that you've already been hearing about, and he ain't no good because he's a black man who is a Republican? Would you refuse that $1,000 because of what somebody told you, or would you look into him a little bit more? Would you ask yourself a little bit more questions like, well, these motherfuckers talking about 1,000. My transmission been fucked up on my car for a minute. Or, groceries been high as hell, and, and my baby about to go off to college. I mean, wouldn't you second guess and think? And wouldn't you kind of look and say, wouldn't you kind of try to psych yourself up maybe? Wouldn't you look for a reason? Wouldn't you look for a reason? I mean, basically what I'm trying to say is, wouldn't you researching for yourself? Wouldn't you, like Princess just said, no, I wouldn't vote for him for $1,000. Maybe you won't. Maybe you've already done your research and you don't like what he's doing. All I'm saying to you is this. There's people that sell their vote for no money. Didn't see that one coming, did you? I attach money to it just to give it a thought. Like, wouldn't you do your own research? Like, let me find out what this guy is about. Let me find out why he wants my vote so bad that he's willing to pay me $1,000. Let me read up on him. Let me see what his policies are. You would do homework. You would earn that $1,000, you might not vote for him and get the 1,000, but you would do your due diligence of knowing this individual. I would think you would. If I tell you, okay, guess what? I got a building over here. Well, this was just in a hypothetical sense, Princess. That wouldn't make, nobody would do this in real world. Let me give you a different scenario case. If I tell you I got a business, I have a building over here, it's empty, has a bakery in it, and I'm going to give you this business. It's been sitting there, and I'm going to give you $10,000 with the business, and it's a bakery. You wouldn't do the research. You would just take the building and the $10,000 from me just because. You would just go in there regardless. You just go in there reckless. You wouldn't do your own homework. You wouldn't wonder why I'm giving it to you. You wouldn't do research on why, like, if a bakery is in a good, is the demographic area good for a bakery right there. You wouldn't do your own homework. So why is it when people tell you that a politician is bad just because they got an R or a D in front of their name or whatever it is, why don't you do your own homework about that individual instead of letting someone tell you that he's a clone of a Clarence Thomas? Don't you see your vote as being valuable, more valuable than the $10,000 in a building? Don't you see your vote being more important than a $1,000 check for your vote? Don't you value your vote? Why do we give our votes away so easy and free? Our votes are free. Our votes are free. And that's why you never get anything. You know why you never get anything? Because that politician don't truly owe you. He owe the people that got you, who put him in front of you. You heard me say this the other day. He owe the people that have the money. He don't owe you nothing. He owe the person that put the money up for him to be seen in the media. He owe the people that gave him the contributions for his campaign. He owe them. He don't owe you nothing. And he know that. The politician know that. What I see right here, somebody owe. They gonna owe these people for stepping up talking this shit. NAACP either got it already or they gonna get it. Mission accomplished. Their job is to cause as much chaos to black folks right now. If black folks are owning their number, if they're the number one, if that's the number one state for black business owners, why are you worried about what black people, what they're not getting in Florida? They seem to be doing better than most black folks in the country, being independent, owning their own businesses, and thriving. Why are you the cause of that to stop? Why would you encourage that to stop? Y'all don't see that? You're more loyal to the LGBTQ community and their cause versus ours, our own? Oh, yeah, okay. But see, I already knew that shit was reckless in the first place. I already know how reckless we can be with one another. I already know. I already know. We make it so easy for the KKK to be silent. We make it so easy for real white supremacy to last and be. They don't have to do nothing. They don't have to do nothing. They don't have to do anything. And my brother on here talking about white supremacy don't exist, but you got to understand what white supremacy is from my perspective. White supremacy was keeping us out of schools. White supremacy was keeping us from working. White supremacy was keeping us from getting education. White supremacy was keeping us from prospering in this country. White supremacy was the rule of white people stopping the progress of black people. I don't know a black kid in this country that if they have the right support, can't be what they want to be in this country. I don't know one. Now, I said a kid that has the right support. See, a kid is never born on his own. I ain't heard of that shit since they said Jesus happened, where, he was born by the Mary lady, didn't even know his daddy and all that old shit, but he still came out of a lady and had a support system as a young child, right? All I'm saying to you is I don't know one kid that has the proper support system that can't go off and be great. That proper support system ain't got nothing to do with white supremacy. That's all about whoever his mama and daddy is. Here's what I don't understand. All these black businesses that we got down in Florida, who you think they employing? Mine employs black and white people. I have 3 white agents that work under my umbrella. 3 white agents. I have more black people employed under my company, not by choice. It's just how it works. That's just what it is. They qualified. They were better people, and that's who worked for me. But to be honest with you, my legal team. Look at my legal team. I have an Asian guy. I have a Jewish guy, and I have 2 black attorneys, and I have Dan Whiteley as the white one. I have 5 lawyers. Think about it. What's stopping me? Is everything that happened bad to me and don't happen in my favor, was it white supremacy? No, this is not 1954 when it was at its fullest. I got a picture I want to show y'all. Matter of fact, I'm glad I brought that up. Check this picture out. Look at this picture here. This is Black Wall Street. 600 businesses within Black Wall Street. 600 businesses started by this collaboration of people right here. I see black people, I see Jewish people, and I see 2 Asians. You know what they created during the worst time for black people in America in 1919, 1918? When white supremacy and all that shit, and they weren't allowing black people to do things and read and write. You know what they were able to create? They were able to create 600 businesses, 21 churches, 21 restaurants, 30 grocery stores, 2 movie theaters, 2 private airplanes, plus a hospital, a bank, a post office, school libraries, and I don't know exactly how many law offices, but I'm sure there were several law offices. This is when it was the worst time in the world to be a black man or a black woman in America. This is shit that people just don't want to talk about, will not talk about, don't want to admit to. I stand on shit like this. Why everybody hollering and fussing about CRT, my babies don't need high school, junior high, elementary, the first grade, daycare. They don't need none of that to teach them CRT. They got a mama and a daddy. They'll learn whatever I want them to learn. But you know what I would be fussing? You know what I would be fussing more for right now? If you want to really do something, NAACP of Florida, if you really want to make a difference, if you really about it, if you really fucking care about black kids and black people, you live in the state of Florida. The NAACP president lives in Tampa Bay. If it's so damn fucked up for black people, why are you there? So now, you know what you should be fighting for, NAACP? You should be fighting for the school system to teach the kids in your public school system financial literacy. Why isn't that it? Why aren't you fighting for something that really means something? Because you just might fucking get it. And if you get it, then you'd have to shut up, wouldn't you? Don't you want your kids to learn banking, credit, skills of learning how to make money with money, learning how your money make money when you're not making money? Don't you want kids to make money while they sleep at night? How about a stock portfolio class? How about stocks and exchange class? How about some of that shit that they touch on in some of these private schools? Why don't you fight for that? Why don't you teach them something that really fucking matter? Because they've been learning Black history in February. They've been learning state history. That involves Black people. That ain't keeping the kids in school. They failing. So what you trying to tell me, Florida, is, and everybody else who's fighting for CRT, that's the solution to our problem. Teach our kids CRT, critical race theory. Teach them that, and that'll make them interested, and they'll stay in school. No kids will skip school. Every kid will be out there and ready to. CRT will prepare our kids for college. That's going to make our parents parent better. No. I need my chaos agents to come tell me that that's a lie. Like, yeah, Wyatt, yeah, you right. But they lying. Yeah, you teach our kids critical race theory, the history of Black people. You teach us all of that shit, and we gonna do better in school. I know this is gonna fuck somebody. Excuse me. I know this is gonna mess somebody's head up because they already gonna say, "Oh, that's that Euro sauce he's talking." But they do it in European schools. They do it in German schools. They have social classes of learning earning. It's called learning earning. It's a class, it's a social class that they learn how to work the economy. You learn the databases of stocks and bonds, and you learn that shit. It's part of their curriculum. You learn how to, what they call it. They used to call it, I think, junior achievement in our schools. And that was some shit kids had to go to after school. They do their junior achievement. It's something different over there. They do their junior achievement during regular school over there. But we sitting here fighting. They just want us fussing at each other. They want to be mad at something. They want Al Sharpton marching down the street for fair treatment of kids. We want critical race theory. We want Black history studies. Stop taking Black history studies out of our AP classes. They want you thinking that, but you just have to look at what they teaching in that class. There's a reason why Sharpton and them is working with them LGBTQs. I'm telling you, you might not believe me, but you better look into it. Don't take my word. Look into it. Just look into it. Do your own homework. I'll put it out there for you to look into. Do it yourself. But as long as you distracted and fighting for shit like what they talking about, think about it, folks. Do you think if Florida said, fuck it, okay, guess what? We're going to give you everything you want. Disney can do the LGBTQ thing or whatever. NAACP, okay, you think it's detrimental for Black people living here? What y'all want? You heard the news lady asked this brother on TV, okay, so what's the solution? Let me just ask you, what do you want? That fucked him up a little bit. Because he wasn't there for nothing that he really wanted. He was just there to complain. He wasn't there with a solution to whatever he was talking about. He just wanted to bitch about some shit. When she asked him the number one question, okay, well, what's the solution? What do you want? Why are you doing this? You know what he said? Well, you know what? He wasn't ready. He said, well, we just want to get the information out there. We just kind of want to let everybody know these things are happening. Wait a minute, that's your fix to the problem? Your fix to the problem is to just let everybody know this is going on down here. We don't have a solution to the problem. We just want everybody to know we got a problem. No, the ladies was specifically asking you. She said specifically, what do you want to get out of this? What's the key? How do you fix it? Yeah, what we just wanted notoriety. We just wanted people to know that this was going on, and this is coming to a city near you because of what Disney is doing. What? Yeah, you see how they doing Disney. This is how the world is going to change in 5 years if you keep letting it. No, the world is going to change in 5 years if you keep letting LGBTQ communities rule the books and the bills and the policies of America. It is going to change. You're going to have men dressed up like women, thinking they women, playing in the WNBA. You're giving up women's rights. You're making an unfair America for women if you let them have their way. Who don't get that? I don't want my babies, I don't want my daughters competing against men in an all-female category. This shit don't make a, you know what? I know some gay people that ain't with this shit. I know gay people that's like, whoa, man, the LGBT, they going too fucking far. They giving men the rights. Y'all gotta understand that. I'm not gay. I don't have no problem. I ain't gonna keep saying this shit like I'm a bitch or a punk or some shit about it. I'm not gay, and I don't have no problem with no gay people. But let me just be honest and say this to you. There's some gay people that done already told me this shit crazy what the fuck they on. You don't have to look. I know some females that are gay that don't have to be guy looking, and they don't want to be no dude. They okay being who they are, looking as fine as they do, or not wearing makeup, doing their nails, not doing it. They fine with who they are. But they'll tell you this shit right here. No. This ain't right. Now, one thing I'm going to say that I didn't think I was going to say is at one point I was about to give Brittany Griner some love because she came home and she has a different perspective about the American flag. She said it in several different press conferences. Oh yeah, the flag, the national anthem, it hit different. Now I understand why Biden did what he did. Oh, it was a triple crown play. Now I understand what the fuck it was. I knew what it was, but now what I had assumed is now coming to pass. Because now Brittany Griner is saying some shit like this. I'm fighting for everybody's rights. And I feel like, now my voice ain't deep enough, but this is how she said it. I'm fighting for everybody's rights. But how I feel about this is everybody has a right to compete. Now she's going in the direction of supporting the LGBTQ community for equal rights in sports. Now she's leaning toward the direction of she don't mind if transgender men get in her sport. I get it, Biden. Here's what I want somebody to ask Biden. I want somebody to ask President Joe Biden, what's his thoughts of the LGBTQ community involving themselves, little 12-year-old girls, little boys running against 12-year-old girls, and that little boy think he a girl. Does that kid have an advantage or not? I want the president of the United States to be asked, what is his feelings about transgenders going into female sports? Because I can guarantee you somebody backed his ass up. Joe Biden owed down to the LGBTQ community. We already knew that, right? Well, here was one of the paybacks with bringing Brittany Griner back to the United States for an arms dealer. I was with her at first like, okay, I'm about to order me a Brittany Griner jersey because now she's respecting the flag. But she just made me do a 360 on that shit. I took it out my box, my cart. I was about to order it. She get in an interview and they asked her about how she felt about transgenders being able to come into the sports. And she said, I believe everybody should have the right to be who they want to be. I was with her there. But then she started talking even more. She lost me when she said, I think transgenders have the right to be able to play in the sport that they choose. The sport that the body that they identify is who they are. So she supports men who transgender into women and compete against women in women's sports. I can't roll with Brittany Griner on that. Now I know why you saluting the flag even more, because I get it. I thought it was because your motherfucking ass came home from Russia. You was about to do that 10 stack. Now I know why you back home feeling good about America, because y'all trying to change America. You trying to make it you trying to make it LGBT convenient. That's what this shit is. Brittany Griner is going to be a spokesperson for the LGBTQ community and trying to allow LGBT transgender men, allow them in pro sports of women. If I was the WNBA, look, Kyrie got that kind of money. I don't have the kind of money to pay their salaries. But if I was the WNBA, and I would go on strike. If every professional woman's sport right now should be walking the fuck out if they allow the LGBTQ community agenda to get into their sport. They're going to ruin it. They're going to ruin it. If you ask me, here's one of the things they should do. The NBA, Major League Baseball, and NFL, they should just open up the sports and say that women can play. Brittany Griner, if you want to go try out for the Lakers, damn it, go right ahead. Try out for the Lakers. But we know you ain't coming to try out because you know you ain't going to make the team. The 15th player on the team is better than Brittany Griner on any man team in the NBA. And I mean it from a physical point of view. She might be able to shoot better, but she can't play a game better than him. She ain't going to last an entire game over the 15th guy on the bench. She ain't going to do that. And they're not going to pay her a league minimum of $1.5 million for her to sit on the bench to make no points. They're not going to do that. To make a point of inference, they're not going to do that. But now what I tell you what they should do, just to be fair, the NBA and NFL and all of them should open the books and say, hey, women are allowed. Come on, if you can make the team, come on and try out. That way, transgenders won't be able to say that they've been discriminated against. Because soon as the LGBTQ community get into these policies, y'all about to fuck up sports for ladies. Y'all about to tear up women's sports, period. Track and field, swimming, baseball, basketball, football, whatever they got, y'all about to fuck it all the way up. And I'm going to tell you how. Once they get a bill passed and they have equal rights of women, now they're in a position to be able to sue. They are going to sue NFL teams. They are going to sue NBA teams. They're going to sue baseball teams. They're going to sue any team that won't let a transgender come play on a female team. They going to sue them if they tell you if Joanna Man want to go play for the LA Sparks, which is a WNBA team. If he want to play for the Sparks and now he identifies as a woman and he has LGBTQ community or LGBTQ rights in a bill, he is now going to sue to be able to play for the LA Sparks. It's not going to be about right or wrong anymore. It's going to be whatever the government, whatever the administration who's taking the side, who allows that bill to be passed, it falls on them. So I'm openly asking Joe Biden and his administration, what are your feelings about LGBTQ rights when it comes down to girls playing sports? The rights of transgenders playing sports in the opposite, girls going over to play with boys and boys who transform over to girls. Now them going over to girl sports. What's your thoughts on that, Mr. and Mrs. Administration? How y'all feel about that? I feel sorry for ladies when it comes to this. I feel sorry for ladies, and I could say something real nasty, and I don't want to say anything nasty towards people because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But where I'm from, it ain't really just the ladies that got a problem here. I just say we just got some bitch ass motherfuckers that want to do some different shit in this world these days. I just can't imagine how even somebody could think that that's right. How could you be a man, transform into a woman, and then go into a boxing ring or a UFC ring and fight a woman? How could you possibly think that's right? We didn't already had the incident happen one time. A man transformed to a woman, went in there and had, I think, a UFC fight and broke the lady's fucking eye socket, broke her face open. Not that we didn't see that shit coming, but it's going to take that to happen? No, because they still fighting for it. They still trying to think that shit is right. When it's wrong, it's 2 left foot, 2 left feet. It's wrong. It's not fair to the woman. I ain't even going to get into the biblical, but it's not fair to women in sports. They just had a story on the news the other day, yesterday. The little girls, 5, 6 little girls on the podium, and the little transgender boy, they like 12 or 13 years old. He come in second place. You got transgenders competing in college right now, taking scholarships from females in female sports. They setting high records, new world records in track and shit. And they're taking scholarships away from real females. Get the fuck out of here. How is that shit ever right? Here's another one. Here's an oldie but goodie. Y'all do know when it comes down to minority contracts, it's not just black people. It's female. White female, black female, Latino female, any woman that's a woman classifies as a minority. So what do you think's going to happen? You think a man should be able to convert himself over to a woman, transform to a woman or whatever, and do all that old shit? Now he has female minority status. How y'all going to feel, ladies, when these guys, when these people can now get, they can now get minority loans because they're women now. Used to be a black man. They used to be a white man. Now they can get minority status being a woman. I'm trying to understand it. Here's my thing. Y'all know Republicans are nasty and shitty and disgusting and all that old shit like what you've been taught, right? What they telling you every day. Here's what I asked you. What party is opening these policies and open arms of this? Which party is allowing this to happen? Which party, if they had their way, is allowing this to happen? That's all I ask. If it was the Democrats, then let it be the Democrats. If it's the Republicans, let it be the Republicans. But that's for you to figure out. That's for you to do your homework on. Ask yourself that. Which party is supporting the shit that I just discussed? I'm going to tell you something. It's all about power. It's all about power. These guys are keeping us arguing and fighting at each other's necks, in the streets to protest, and we don't get it. Where's all the protests right after the elections? Where's all the protests during the first 2 years? Why is there always, why is there some type of momentum of distraction and chaos to build up right around this time, a year out from voting every time? Why? Because they want people in the streets. They want that power. They know that if you go vote emotionally, that you won't even think about what you're doing. You just gonna vote in the way that they have steered your emotions. They know that. They know that. Let me tell you something about power. My grandmother told me a long time ago, I'm the destiny. I'm the destiny. I control my own destiny. No one controls your destiny, Rand. My granny told me. She said, you can be anything you want to be in this world. You can be the most successful person in this world. You can even be a bum. You can be anything you want to be. You can make that decision. She said, you might even get a couple times to choose. You might decide one thing and decide that's not right for you and then go in another direction and end up doing something totally different. She said, you got several lives in one life. So make sure you make the proper decisions. She told me, she said, you're your own destiny. She said, you make your own decisions of what you want to do. Nobody is stopping you. Now, we're talking about a lady who worked in a tea kettle. She scrubbed toilets at the beginning of her career. She served people for 40 years on the job. She was never anybody's supervisor. My grandmother was never a supervisor on a job. All she did was serve people her entire life. But she told me that I can be anything I want to be. I have the power. She said, you control your own destiny. This is why I get a little faded, upset, teed off when I hear people. See, I take what I do serious. I joke a little bit, but I take this shit way serious. Number one, let me tell you how serious I am about this shit. We all know I got hours on top of hours and got the documentation to show you. I got hours on top of hours on top of hours on top of hours of podcasting on YouTube, Twitch, all these programs, Facebook, all that old shit. Guess how much money I make off of this? Let's play a little game. Everybody close your eyes unless you're driving. Close your eyes for 2 seconds. 1, 2. How much money did you see in that vision? How much did you see? I seen darkness. I seen nothing. That's how much money I make. Who else do you know is as committed to this as I am and don't make any money at it? You have to have compassion. You have to have passion for something to do it for free. Nobody's signing a check for me to say what I'm saying. I don't get any political contributions. Now, I don't know about that, Roz. I've been doing this 3 years. E-Man been at it on and off for what? A year maybe? E-Man was getting a check. He been off for what, about a year now? No disrespect to my brother, I'm just saying. Tiffany Daniels, what's up, sis? She said, we need to get you some sponsors. Let me tell you why. It's a possibility. I've had a couple offers, but here's the thing. When you work with people like sponsors, sometimes they think that you're they're your boss. And when you get into opinionated situations, a lot of them don't really want you to say certain things that could be bad on their brand. In other words, if I got a sponsor from, let's just use a Wingstop, which happens to be a corporate company. They may not ever want me to use the N-word. They may not want me to talk about or have my perspective of how I had on LGBTQ community. They may not want me to say things about the NAACP because it's not favorable to black people, and black people may complain and it might be a bad look on Wingstop. So any sponsor that I have, they would have to be ready to rumble with me. They would have to be able to live with what I say. One thing I'm not, and I've never been, ever since my granny told me, I've never been for sale. I'm not coming on these shows and saying what I'm saying and challenging the leadership in our community for any other reason than to just try to even the score of making it make sense. I'm not here. I don't get $9 million like Whoopi Goldberg to say dismissive shit like she does. I don't get $9 million. I don't get $1.6 million a year like Sunny Holston on The View. I don't make money like that doing this and pushing certain agendas. They get paid to do what they do and say what they do. They don't even get to say what they want to say. That shit is all arranged for them. They're just the actors. They're the actors. They're the staff. That's why I made the comment I made, and I got to stick to it. Y'all ain't going to like it. But I got in my feelings this morning with my sister about that shit, trying to make it seem like that I said some derogatory shit about Whoopi Goldberg and her hair. I didn't call Whoopi Goldberg ugly. What you called her ugly. You said black men don't want Whoopi Goldberg. And I'll say to you, like I said it this morning, and I'll say it again. I know women that look like Whoopi Goldberg that ain't got no problem getting no men. There's somebody out there for everybody. Now, if you really want to know the truth of how I feel about her and her man choices, don't try that shit with me. She prefers. Whoopi Goldberg prefers white men. I ain't got no problem with that, but don't be pro-black and don't even date black men. That's bullshit to me. That's total bullshit to me. You gonna talk about black pride and black this and this and that, but you won't even date a black man. And then you think, sis, that she don't date black men because black men don't want her. That sounds ridiculous to me. There's black guys that are light-skinned that love chocolate women. Whoopi Goldberg since the 80s. That's what she prefers. It ain't because black men don't want her. You can say the same thing about Oprah, huh? She got a tall, light-skinned brother. Oprah played in The Color Purple too. All my life I had to fight. Wasn't that what she said? Ain't that what Whoopi Goldberg said as Sissy or whatever her name was? All my life I had to fight. No, all your life you've been dating white men. I don't go by what people do on TV. I don't care what other actors and actresses give them prompts for and all that old shit. I watch how you move in real life. That tell me who you are. I don't have any problem with interracial dating and all that old shit. Just don't be the dude that talk about. You can't be a black dude dating a white girl and call yourself pro-black. It ain't, you know you're not. You look foolish to me. You can't be a white woman. You can't be a black girl, a sister, dating nothing but white men and calling yourself pro-black. You can't do that. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. Hang up on me now. That's just my opinion. I don't have a problem with interracial dating. I don't have a problem with people that have mixed kids. None of that. But don't be acting like Kyle Kaepernick. Don't be out here talking about, that's the craziest shit in the world. To me. But when I hear somebody say Whoopi Goldberg can't get no man because black men don't want her, really? And she changed her name because her name was Karen? No. It's because she went into Hollywood. And she obviously has a complex of herself. She was accepted by white men, so she appreciated it more. She changed her name to a Jewish name because she valued it more. Let's be honest. Those are her values and her principles. I don't shame them. I don't have a problem with it. But then don't go pro-black and act like you care about black people so much, but you ashamed to be black. But then you get paid for your black features. That's what I was saying. She would not be on The View doing what she's doing if she didn't look the way she looks. She wouldn't be there. Whoopi Goldberg didn't even come up in that environment. She was never a motivational speaker or none of that shit. And when they suspended her for her view, you see how you see the irony in that? Whoopi Goldberg works for The View, but yet they write her views down. They tell her what to say. She fits the mold of what they want her to do. But when she slips up and says something and she gives her own point of view, she gets suspended. That means you sitting there saying some shit for a check. You can't even be who you want to be. And her costume is what she is. The look, the presence. They want her to be the African American, the black woman on the stage. That's what they want her to look like. They want her to have the dreads. They want her to be dark skinned. They want her to wear the damn robes and the sheets and shit that she wear every day. That's part of the costume. That's so the people will put our guards down and listen to the nonsense that people are writing for her. I got too much power for that shit. My grandmother raised me white. My mama raised me right. I've been raised as a true man to understand bullshit when bullshit is in my face, and that's just the end of it. Peace and love to everybody. I'll see y'all in the morning at 9 o'clock. Grab your own power. Until then, later.
Attack, front to back, in this thing called rap. Digger like a shovel, rhyme double on a heavenly level. Bang the bass, turn up the treble. Radical mind, day and night, all the time. 714, wise, divine. Maniac, brainiac, winning the game. I'm the lyrical Jesse James. My voice goes through the mesh of the microphone that I am holding. Copywritten lyrics so they can't be stolen if they all snap. Don't need the police to try to save them, your voice will sing. So peace, stay off my back or I will attack, and you don't want that.